Yo, what's up guys? Slot here. Now, you might be wondering why your ADC has been picking up a dirty Dorans Ring recently at level 1, specifically Jhin or MF, and today I'm pretty much here to explain why. I'm a little bit surprised that it took so long for people to realize how good Dorans Ring is on Jhin, but basically it's just really efficient and effective, and in this video I'm going to explain why. So to begin with, the main reasoning for wanting the Dorans Ring on a champion like Jhin or MF is the fact that they use up a lot of mana in the laning phase to trade with, and often you need to use your spells to farm minions as well, especially under tower. Since Jhin only has 4 autos, you're forced to use your Q a lot to get farm. I mean, the Dorans Ring wouldn't work if he didn't use the AP on it fairly well, but the main purpose of it is to basically be able to infinitely spam your spells in the laning phase, because obviously it's not going to improve your like snap trading with the other AD carry where you're like trading an auto attack, because you are going to probably lose out in that department, but you're going to have so much more mana at your disposal that you should slowly win out the lane. And I think one thing that went sort of overlooked on Jhin is the fact that his Q has a 60% AP ratio, which I mean I saw it I guess, but I didn't really realize like how good that is, because the way that his Q works is that the total damage of the spell goes up by 35% on each minion killed. So that means that both the AD and the AP ratios are both increasing with each minion death. So I mean, I think it's still efficient even if you just end up queuing the enemy champion, but it makes your bounces extremely dangerous for them, and the fact that you can use your Q so much means that they have to be constantly worrying about it, and you pretty much never go So even though all of this is really good and there are a lot of upsides, of course there are a couple downsides, but they're pretty minute. The biggest one is that your trading power when you auto attack the other, or you trade autos with the other AD, is going to be a tad bit weaker. Your W damage is going to go down a little bit, and your ult damage is going to go down slightly, but obviously I don't really think that's a big deal. And to make up for the lack of trading power, you're going to have an extra pot on the other ADs that go Doran's Shield or Doran's Blade. So I think it's a good trade-off, and you just have to sort of approach the lane with a little bit of a different mindset. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys the runes and masteries that I like to use, and there's 2 different setups. They're not that much different, but one is more aggressive, one is more defensive. So I'm going to start with lethality reds. It's kind of interesting because even though you're building off like an AP ratio, lethality is going to give you like extra damage on your AP ratio, which is kind of weird to think about. Kind of brings you back to the old days of League when all the AD abilities had AP ratios. So the biggest difference between the rune pages, or the only difference, is that you have the option of going for AP blues, and it actually works out pretty well. You end up coming to lane with around 30 AP. You definitely, I mean, you lose out on a lot of defense by doing this, but people often take like the half and half like attack speed MR blues anyways, so this is sort of like what Jhin can do since he can't utilize the attack speed. But if you're not feeling that, I mean, it's not necessary. The Dorans Ring by itself is going to be good, and you could just go for the regular Jhin page, which is just lethality reds, armor yellows, MR blues, and AD quints. So that's that for runes. And then for masteries, you're going to want to run sorcery for increased ability damage. Fresh blood or feast is both fine on Jhin. I think since you're not going to have any lifesteal early on, aside from, actually don't take vampirism. Feast is not bad, but I think overall I just prefer fresh blood in general, because feast has a really long cooldown, and the extra damage that you can output from fresh blood trumps the health that you get back from feast, if that makes any sense, if you're trading often. So I like to go natural talent as well, because he makes use of the AD and the AP on that talent extremely well, or mastery rather. Double-edged sword versus battle trance is just personal preference. I've been trying both out, but I think I prefer double-edged sword a little bit. Obviously, gonna go for the armor pen and warlords. Now, since you're gonna have 2 health potions as well as a lot less AD to last hit with. If you don't feel comfortable last hitting with the reduced AD that you get, you can go for Cunning. Cunning's not bad. The Secret Stash, since you're going to have 2 pots to utilize. I wouldn't say you need Meditation. It's kind of overkill. You're already going to have more than enough mana regen. But Merciless does work really well with Jhin, and then these 3 don't really matter. But I still prefer to run defense. I think defense is much better overall. I really like Fearless, of course, and so yeah, that's my setup. Alright, so I mean, in this clip, I kind of just wanted to show you guys like laning phase. This isn't like particularly great or well played or anything. I just kind of want to show you guys how much I'm able to spam my Q and not go Oom. So I think I end up using my Q like 3 or 4 times a minute here, and I'm laning for like 8 minutes, and I literally just never run out. I think I end up with like 150 mana when I go B or something like that. So yeah, even though you have an extra pot, you're not going to have any HP per 5, and you're not going to have any lifesteal. So once your 2 pots run out, you're pretty much donezo, and so you always have to be thinking about that. But since you have an infinite mana pool and you don't always really need to get in range of your opponents to trade, you just have to like think about that and just play the lane that way. One like super efficient way to trade on Jhin is after you get E at level 4, you can throw an E on the casters and then like 1 auto attack, and that'll usually get them low enough to create like a Q bounce that'll kill all the minions, and it'll put a lot of pressure on them when they go up to CS because they have to run through their casters to get minions, and so you're able to zone them that way. You can also just throw down a Q on the casters right at the beginning, and then a Q plus an auto attack will have the same effect, but you'll lose the pressure from your Q being on cooldown for a few seconds. So yeah, I mean, this isn't like super groundbreaking. I mean, this isn't the most game-changing thing on the planet, but I personally was super confused when I was seeing the D-ring on 80 carries at first, and it like actually tilted me to see that my teammates were like going D-ring and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of explain to you guys after like looking into it and realizing that it's super efficient and really good, and just do a video explaining to you guys why that is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two, and I'll definitely be looking to do more videos in the future, so you can look out for that. And if you enjoyed the video, then you can comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. So thanks for watching. Peace.